In a village cradled between towering mountains and lush green valleys, a young boy named Arjun lived a life that seemed, from the outside, peaceful and simple. The villagers knew him as bright and inquisitive, with a thirst for knowledge. But Arjun carried a heavy burden. His heart was clouded with confusion, questions that no one around him seemed to answer, questions that kept him up at night and distracted him from the beauty of the world. Why do people suffer? Why do they grow old and die? Why does everything that brings happiness eventually fade into sadness? Arjun's mind was a battlefield of such thoughts. Every time he thought he found an answer, 100 more questions sprang up, leaving him more lost than before. It was as if life were a puzzle that refused to be solved. Arjun spent his days by the river, gazing at the flowing water, hoping the currents would wash away his confusion. He longed for clarity, a way to make sense of the chaos in his mind. But the more he thought, the deeper he sank into his own uncertainty. One evening, a rumor spread like wildfire through the village. The Buddha, the wise sage revered for his infinite wisdom, was traveling nearby and would soon pass through their village. The people were abuzz with excitement, and Arjun, too, felt a spark of hope ignite within him. Surely, the Buddha would have the answers to his questions. As dawn broke the next day, the villagers gathered in the square, eagerly awaiting the Buddha's arrival. Arjun stood among them, heart racing with anticipation. When the Buddha finally appeared, walking calmly and slowly with his disciples, there was an air of profound peace that seemed to envelop him, a stillness that made the entire village fall silent. Arjun could feel something stirred deep within him, a strange sense that he was in the presence of something beyond understanding, yet simple in its essence. With trembling hands, he stepped forward and knelt before the Buddha. "Master," Arjun said, his voice barely above a whisper, "I am lost. Life confuses me, and no matter how much I try to understand it, I only feel more uncertain. Why do people suffer? Why must we lose those we love? Why does everything change when we so desperately want it to stay the same? Please, Master, I beg you, help me find clarity." The Buddha looked at Arjun, his eyes filled with kindness and wisdom. But instead of answering immediately, the Buddha turned his gaze to a large tree standing just outside the village. Its branches swayed gently in the breeze, casting long shadows on the ground. "Do you see that tree?" the Buddha asked softly. Arjun nodded, unsure of what this had to do with his confusion. "Go to it," the Buddha instructed. "When you reach the tree, touch it, then return to me." Arjun hesitated, perplexed by the simplicity of the task. What could this possibly mean? But he obeyed. As he walked toward the tree, at first, his mind buzzed with thoughts. Why did the Buddha ask me to do this? How will this solve my confusion? But as he walked, something shifted. The sound of his own footsteps on the earth, the rustling leaves in the wind, the distant chirping of birds, they began to draw his attention. As he reached the tree, he placed his hand on its bark. The rough texture grounded him in the moment. For the first time in as long as he could remember, his mind was quiet. There were no questions, no confusion, only the feel of the tree beneath his fingertips, the wind brushing against his skin, and the soft warmth of the sun above. Arjun lingered there for a moment, just breathing, just being. Slowly, he turned and made his way back to the Buddha, feeling different, lighter somehow, though he couldn't yet explain why. "I did as you asked, Master," Arjun said when he returned, still unsure of the lesson. The Buddha smiled gently, as though seeing something that Arjun himself could not yet see. "Tell me, Arjun," the Buddha said. "What did you notice as you walked to the tree?" Arjun thought for a moment. "At first, my mind was filled with thoughts, questions about what this task could mean. But as I walked, I began to notice the wind, the sound of the leaves, the birds singing. When I touched the tree, I stopped thinking altogether. I just felt. And for that moment, I wasn't confused anymore." The Buddha's smile deepened. "Life is like that walk to the tree. You see, Arjun, your confusion comes not from life itself but from the way you are trying to grasp it, to understand it all at once. When you focus too much on the destination, on finding answers, you lose sight of the journey. But when you let go of the need for control, when you simply be in the present moment, life reveals its wisdom to you naturally." Arjun frowned, still uncertain. "But Master, how can I find peace in a world that is always changing?
How can I stop feeling confused when everything around me is so uncertain?
The Buddha pointed to the sky, where clouds drifted lazily across the blue expanse.
Look at the clouds. They do not fight the wind, they move with it. Life is much the same, always changing, always moving.
When you cling to things as they are, when you resist change, you create suffering. But when you flow with life, accepting each moment as it comes without trying to hold on or control it, confusion fades away. Arjun's eyes followed the clouds, drifting effortlessly through the sky. For the first time, he understood. His confusion was not something that needed to be solved, it was something that arose from his desire to control life, to have all the answers. But life, like the clouds, was meant to move and change, and his task was not to understand everything, but to live fully in each moment. Master, Arjun said, his voice soft, I think I understand.
Clarity isn't found in answers, is it? It's found in accepting the present moment as it is. The Buddha nodded.
Yes, Arjun. Clarity comes when we let go of our need to grasp, to control, to solve every mystery of life. It comes when we trust the journey, step by step, and open ourselves to the experience of being fully alive in the present. This is the wisdom of the Zen path, finding peace not in answers, but in awareness. With those words, the Buddha and his disciples continued on their journey, leaving the village in a quiet, peaceful stillness. Arjun stood in the square, gazing after them, his heart lighter, his mind clearer. He still had questions, but he no longer felt the need for immediate answers. For the first time, he was at peace with the mystery of life. And from that day forward, whenever confusion stirred within him, Arjun would take a walk not to solve his problems, but to listen to the wind, feel the earth beneath his feet, and trust in the path unfolding before him. He had learned that the journey itself was the answer. If you found this story inspiring and would like to dive deeper into the teachings of mindfulness, Zen wisdom, and life's mysteries, join us at 1811 Studios on YouTube. ***, we explore timeless stories, ancient wisdom, and transformative practices to help you navigate life's challenges with clarity and peace. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more videos that guide you on your path toward inner calm and understanding.